knows what he's doing, right? Like he said, it was just, his laundry. It was one of the clean shirts that he liked, and that's what he wore. That's got to be an endorsement of his quarterback, despite some doubters still out there. No.
I mean, of course it's an endorsement. He endorses all of his players. I imagine that his closet is sort of like, this is a very loose analogy, so I hope people don't think I'm the old show with Pee Wee Herman in it, where he would dress up in the tuxedo and the red bow tie. He would go into his closet and there would just be 700 of those same gray suits with red bow ties, right? So I imagine Nick Sirianni, it's like the Mr. Rogers thing too. I imagine Nick Sirianni's laundry basket gets dumped on his bed and it's just t-shirts with his players on it, cartoon images of his players on it, because that's what he does. That's what he wears. That's his thing.
Hey, you know what? Makes sense to me. So we got a lingerie reference. We got a Pee Wee Herman reference. Well, we're just going to keep it going. We're going to keep it going, baby. So let me just say this. So day one of camp in the books. I know we make a big deal about all of this, but just where are you at? Because last time we talked to you, we're in the middle of the offseason. Now we're at the end of the offseason. Training camp has got underway. Where are you at right now in the evaluation process of Jalen Hurts?
I'm thinking Hall of Fame and wondering if he might be the greatest quarterback ever. After one practice, of course. Now,
of course, naturally.
Now, Mark, we could do a whole entire show, not that you want to, but on just even when training camp was real, how difficult it really is to make long-term conclusions on lots of things. It's not hard to evaluate players, I think, at training camp. Obviously, the coaches do it every day. But you're evaluating certain players, like quarterback, right, under certain conditions that are not what you see in an NFL game. So if they're not in pads and they're not doing 11-on-11s and the day one is mostly 7-on-7s and there's no pass rush to distort Jalen Hurts. And, they only did red zone stuff really in team drills on first day anyway. So, I'm not going to be the guy who does that. I mean, I'm sure people will chart it and certain people will make really long-term conclusions. I don't. It's day one. They work on certain things, and training camp now is so different than the training camp when I started covering the team when it was in Lehigh, which, by the way, the older guys would tell me was so different when there were 7 preseason games and there were 3 practices a day for 8 weeks. It was like they were telling us that the Lehigh days were soft. So now what do you think those of us who've been through Lehigh think of this training camp now? And now, look, I know there's a method to the madness, right? There's a reason, but I look and see Wednesday is the start of training camp, and Thursday is a walkthrough day, a closed to media walkthrough day. And hear Nick Sirianni say, well, that's because training camp started Tuesday with a conditioning test. And so we don't do 3 straight days of work. And I think, wow, that's really incredible. How far things have come since those days.
Gotcha. So look, bottom line is whatever we feel about Jalen Hurts, and my gut feeling going into this is that he will again be the Eagles starting quarterback next year. I think that is going to happen again. Are you close to that, or are you 100% have to wait and see what the season is? But bottom line is, what's your gut telling you going into the year?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not close to he's not, or I'm as close to he's not as I am to he is. I mean, because honestly, last year was his first year with not such a great team. Good team, not great, right? Even with making the playoffs, they've built around him. But they did have the flirtations with the top name quarterbacks in the offseason. They just were not able to get anybody to flirt back, kind of like me in high school. But now they've built up the team around him. But remember, they've got assets for next year. So, I think that a lot of people just naturally assume, hey, they won 9 games last year, got better, they should win 10, 11, 12. And I do think they have 10 to 12 win talent. But we also know that in the NFL, it's never linear like that. It's very rare. Some teams, yes, but it doesn't just happen that way. Or else the 2020 Eagles wouldn't have won 4 games. They would have won 13 or 14, right? So, and we know that's not the case. So obviously, Jalen has to be a really good quarterback this year for the Eagles to then want to, I would think, give him the money, the contract extension that you would normally give a quarterback after 3 years. So, I mean, can he do it? Yes. Does he have a good shot to do it? Yes. Am I convinced he's going to? I'm not convinced of anything of anybody. So.